Good afternoon, Bruin fans, and welcome to another edition of Something Bruin here in our third season, episode 8. Here with Coach Cook, Rashad. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. We're in our pregame script and looking to finish up another decent week of practice. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, and always here. Look forward here to having these episodes here, and definitely last week, definitely great crowd here around the community as both of us are alums, so we're definitely used to the excitement around. Homecoming, especially starting with the events during the week, and then the day of homecoming there with the community parade.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome to see our alumni base come back, our fan base come out, and student, population also in support. So it was definitely electrifying. A lot of people, in the parade and watching the parade, and a lot of people at the game itself. So it was everything we assured our kids it would be. Homecoming is full of distractions too, and that's a challenge. As a staff to keep those guys locked in and understand the big picture is those 48 minutes with the kickoff starting at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I know the previous week, we were Nancy Rivers' homecoming opponent, and they pretty much just had the festivities at halftime, But there's something here about Bruin Nation. I know that you guys had the school had events, Monday through Thursday, but then definitely the community parade and even the parade around the track before kickoff, and then definitely there with the halftime activities and some of the football players there in the homecoming court.
Yes, we did. We had quite a few represent our football program that were nominated and or, won underclassmen awards. So definitely happy that they get the full high school experience. I believe Riley Higgins was named, homecoming king. I believe I'm saying it right. But, ultimately it's high school. We want these kids to have these memories that last a lifetime. So we can have a conversation like you and I do, about our experience here at West Branch High School. We all understand it's that type of atmosphere. A lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of supporters. That's like their Super Bowl moment, if that makes sense, homecoming. It's everything that we expected it to be. As I said earlier, definitely happy that these young men, these seniors, get a full homecoming experience. It hasn't really been fully open until this year. All the other years, I believe in 2020 spring, we didn't have one. We just had a senior night. I believe in 2021 fall, we had one, but it wasn't the flare that it was this past week. And then obviously each year it's gotten better. So, it's a part of the game. And just happy for our fan base to come and be able to travel near and far to support our Bruins.
Yeah, and I know that we talked about your class here, '98, Charles' class, Miss Williamson's class, they're '93. But I even saw a class that participated in the parade and the pregame parade around the track. I mean, 73.
Yeah.
50 years. So. Definitely hear a lot of Bruin pride there last Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. 73, 83, 93, 03, 13.
Right.
And, the kids of the 23 season gets to live in that moment, although they're graduating in the class of 24. But yeah, it's everything expected. It's something that we all look forward to. If they guys couldn't make it, they're checking in, right? Text message here, there, or email, or whatever it looks like. But yeah, it was fun, and it's great to see. And speaking of class of '73, I think Coach Bright
Yeah.
represented that class. I could be wrong, and please forgive me, Coach Bright, if I'm off. Maybe he was 77, but at the end of the day, which I doubt, but at the end of the day, it's just good to see a lot of our alumni take pride or reinvest back into the pride and tradition of Western Branch. Although the game didn't go the way we wanted it to, everything considered was still victorious.
Yeah, and the thing is, pregame, I ran into Mrs. Williamson and I was like, "Hey, do you have reserved seating for the classes?" And she's like, "Well, I've done that." She said, "But with the big crowd, nice evening, I saw her at halftime, and she said that just with the big crowd, it was hard to reserve seats
Right.
because." And let's admit it. Last Friday night, we've talked about football being back, but last Friday night, perfect, perfect weather
Yeah,
evening.
yeah.
You know?
It's definitely getting to that fall setting, right? Crisp air and a slight breeze. Yeah, to her credit, there was seating for each class. I remember seeing that as I had to go up to the press box. But coming down, it was neat to see the rows. I believe it was two per row in that alumni section that was there to represent each class. So without a doubt, but it was a lot of people there, a lot of fans, supporters. And just a nice night for good football.
Yeah, and we talk about there's no I in team, and you've talked about big team, little me, but with being at home, during the weeknights, I ended up watching the show on the ACC network, and talked about the Florida State Seminoles here, there in the late '90s, and they had a slogan, "Team, not about me."
Right.
And so just something here, same meaning, but just different phrases of it's about the team and not about the individuals.
Correct. And to me, ultimately, you win games as a team.
Right.
One individual can be an impact player, but it takes all 11 to be synced and execute in order for you to be successful. And that's not just one game; that is multiple games. Those are things that we see in every level. The NFL, all those things considered, college football, as you mentioned, high school football, youth football, and middle school. And that's been our challenge. It's I think Najee Harris made a report or a comment about 2 weeks ago. And they lost, I can't remember, to the team, the Titans or somebody. And he said, the word is we keep blaming coaches. And not one coach can play football for us. No one can get on that field and score a touchdown, make a tackle. It's us, the players, that got to be those guys that do it. And ultimately, it comes down to execution. He said there's no in particular play caller that can dial it up and make it happen without the kids, the players on the field, the men on the field executing. And we're not pointing fingers at nobody. We got to all continue to reinvest back into our purpose as Western Branch and what does it take to get to where we need to be. And that's hard work. There's no excuses. That's getting the job done. It starts at the top, the head coach, all the way down to the water boy, or the managers. And that's something that I understand as a head coach that, I say it all the time to our kids, and I learned this from Bobby Bowden. All I take is the fame and the blame. The kids always get the glory. And that's what we signed up for. But ultimately this week, we really wanted our kids to understand that it's all about execution. You can have all the bells and whistles, you can have all the talent, but if we're not executing those one plays or that assignment or that special team sequence, it will rear its ugly head.
Yeah, and let's see, and with tomorrow night's tomorrow night's opponent, Coach Jay, I want to say that he played
Yeah.
at that field since he's a Great Bridge alum,
Yes.
but it's time to forget about even last week and just turn the page time to go 1-0 tomorrow night?
Yeah, it is. But we've moved on.
Yeah.
But along moving on, the lessons that we learned, we kept reinserting. Throughout the week. I love the kids we get to develop. They haven't changed from a year ago. The ones that are here, they're working hard. Now it's about putting it all together. There are terms I've heard all weekend. At some point it's going to click. All those things. We are extremely young. We got two freshmen, left tackle, left guard. We got a seasoned senior, possible sophomore, but a freshman right guard, and then we may get a little younger going into tomorrow night's matchup at right tackle. So it's something we understand, but with these kids being baptized by fire, it's going to show up eventually. These guys are going to be ready for the moment, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we got Gray Bridge. They're a very good team. They're not, it's much like Hickory. I know we gave them credit, but when you're looking at tape and how they compete against Oscar Smith, how they compete against Lakeland, the two films that we exchanged, they're not the same team that we thought they were, or they're not the same team that we are accustomed to, and they're being coached up well. So our kids do not walk into any game. I don't even think they walked into Deep Creek's game, not to go back, taking Deep Creek lightly.
Yeah.
It's just a combination of so many different variables. But our kids are really locked in to this week, and I'm excited to see how they bounce back from, two losses in a row.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way our schedule, where we're at. I mean, yes, we do have 4 games left, but 3 out of the 4 are road contests. And just but before we get to senior night, or before we even get to next Friday night against Indian River, we just take one game at a time.
100%, absolutely. So, for us, I think our kids play very well on the road. This year. I'm sorry. Last year we were much more of a quality opponent at home. Just kind of looking at the analytics of how we looked a year ago. But on the road, I've seen them compete and be ready for Kings Fork before the game was flown. At kickoff, I've seen them locked in and ready. And it showed Nansemond River game. And, for us, I think getting on the road, we have that business mindset. But also playing home in our own backyard, there's no place like home. We just got to find a way to put it all together. And that's going to happen, without a doubt. But I'm excited about tomorrow. It's nothing like being able to get another opportunity to go 1-0, another opportunity to compete and show and improve. That's what we want to see. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, had a great message this week that I told the boys pre-practice. I'm going to share with them. And he read the definition now and what now meant, and how now is in the present, not the future, not the past, but in the present. And when it's used, it's always about the present moment, the present time, the present opportunity. And, I thought that was very important. We hear what's your why, right? And that's your purpose. But now, what is your now? Your NOW. And that's the moment right now that we're in, whatever snap, whatever phase, whatever quarter. And I really like that. I thought that was kind of cool, the way he used that. And albeit, he's got a young team, he put together a good roster and a good team, but yet, now it has to be conducive for the competition and the conference that he's coaching in, right? To be able to be on the national stage. And for us, we're in a good conference. We just got to be ready to rock and roll each week. And that's not on the kids. That's just the whole team. That's got to be our mindset each week. But I'm very, very proud of how our young men are responding to adversity. And indirectly is bringing them closer. And that's what you want. As you started with the big team, little me, and all the slogans that everyone has. Coach Winley has a shirt titled Team Over Me, right? So team ball, team everything over myself, over my individual, praise and accolades and accomplishments and achievements. And we shared that with them this week as well. So I'm excited about tomorrow night. We got to put that helmet back on and shoulder pads and go back to work. We have a good game plan in all 3 phases. We feel matches up well, much like we did versus Nansemond. We just got to execute. That's what it's going to really come down to, execution.
Yeah, and I mean, I got a family commitment there tomorrow. I mean, with today being 21 years for Elizabeth and I, but definitely tune in here to the updates and definitely be pulling there for our team from afar.
Absolutely. Happy anniversary to both of you
Well,
guys.
thank
Absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
look, you and LaShawn had an anniversary here earlier this fall.
Right.
So
Absolutely. But yes, enjoy that. Right. That's what it's about. And it's also awesome to know that in that moment, both of you guys probably will be wanting to know, how we're looking and what it looks like. So that's pretty cool, and that's very rare sometimes, right?
right, right,
Very
yeah,
rare that one or the other are all locked in. But y'all enjoy your evening, without a doubt, and enjoy each other. Absolutely.
yeah, and and the thing is here, we have this platform here to get the word out here
Yes.
about our program here in the community. But something that I saw here on Coach Thomas's Facebook page, it's definitely nice. Nothing against Applebee's or other local restaurants that have already been in the area and represent Western
Mhm.
Branch, but definitely nice to see Bubba's 33 getting ready to open up, and definitely Bruin Pride here
Yes.
will be represented in that restaurant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have a helmet of ours and a nice jersey. I think the number jersey fits, without a doubt. So if you go and eat there, definitely you're going to see some Bruin history there. And, it was great to meet everybody as well earlier this week as we exchange, the gifts and all things considered. So it's good to see our program again. Like you said, other restaurants in the area over the years have supported Western Branch and other schools within our area and community. But it's nice to know that our Bruins will be represented in Bubba's 33 as well.
Yeah, and the thing is with our Bruin flashback, I mean, I gotta admit that that Florida State team over me slogan was
Yes.
going into the '99 season, and that '99 season, the postseason, there was the championship game that Virginia Tech got put on the map, and one of the wide receivers from that Virginia Tech team that's from Bruin Nation, and not too many people talk about. I mean Emmett Johnson, definitely a vital part with Virginia Tech, but most definitely Bruin Nation.
Absolutely. I believe he was the first freshman to either start or play for Frank Beamer. He's very accomplished. Emmett had a good career at Virginia Tech, and obviously we stay connected quite a bit. He through his company, donated, gave us a generous donation in our fundraiser earlier this year. So he's still connected to West Branch Bruin football. His spirit runs true and through, and what an athlete though. His record still stands for triple jump, long jump, and all things considered here on the track circuit under head coach Wade Williams. So, what a great person. He's doing very, very well. I'm excited that our next class is getting this opportunity. Recruitment is starting to come around. Coaches are starting to reach out. And, we always say you got to own what you put on tape, right? And
Right.
we always tell them you can't fool a fool. That means coaches know what it looks like. So I'm excited that, see these guys turn this thing around tomorrow. I'm not predicting anything, but I do have confidence in, our coaching staff and our players that we're going to get this thing turned around. But I also appreciate where we are.
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of weird, but we've had so much instant success that when you face adversity, how do you respond to it? Now we're 2-4, not 4-2.
Yeah.
And in most cases, each year we've gone 8-1 with the last game determining what the final score record would be. So for us, this is really allowing us as a staff to really continue to do what we do best, and that's lead, that's mentor, that's teach, that's guide. And for our young men, this is going to help pay forward in life, when football is over. And sometimes 2 days in a row, you did not get what you set out to go for, but you still got 5 more, to go 1-0. And so contrary to belief, and I know it sounds bad, I'm okay where we are because, again, this is another teachable moment for our young men. And when they go through something and come out of it, they're going to value it twice as much. Twice as much.
Yeah, and and the thing is, I know that we take one game at a time, and I know that you and I have talked about it. I mean, once the regular season is over, it's
Brand new season.
tournament time, and it's the second part. It's the second part of the season, with the first part being regular season, and then second part of your season being postseason.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm ready to see these Bruins here. What happens, and I feel good here on where the team is at, and just to piggyback on what you stated. And first part is tomorrow night. They're off of Mount Pleasant Road.
Absolutely. And, I told our guys before our meeting, as they were, closing out their warm ups, that we're in playoff mode. And for a young team, this is probably indirectly a good situation to be in. We're not adding any more pressure on these guys, right? But we're also giving them something to hold on to, that when they're in the fire, they understand that this is what it looks like. Survive and advance, right?
Right.
So for us, we just want to get better. We want to win tomorrow. Excuse me, but we don't want to put added pressure on these young men. And someone asked me, so what is our identity? And it's okay not to have one. I know that sounds bad, but it will show when we get to a moment in this season who we really are. And sometimes it is the playoffs. Sometimes it is right here, adversity. We got 4 games. We still got to win in order to make the playoffs. Only the top 8 get in, right?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, these are good lessons that we're all learning from. And as a head coach, as an assistant coach, we should never have a low ceiling. We should always have a high ceiling. We should always reinvest back in why we do what we do, because our kids will follow that type of leadership. So, it's been a good week. It's been a literature week that we've shared information with our young men. But ultimately, I believe we're going to be fine. We will be fine. Our kids are going to answer the bell. And, we're just going to take it 1 week at a time.
Yeah, and the nice thing about tomorrow night is, we already know about Coach Jay, and being a Great Bridge alum and what he did with leading Western Branch football. But you got Mr. Hicks and Coach Wright,
Yes.
who work at Western Branch, Great Bridge alums.
Yes.
And you got Great Bridge's principal, who's a Western Branch alum, and Great Bridge's principal's father-in-law coached me in rec baseball in Western Branch. I mean, so just
we're all connected.
A lot of connections.
A lot of
both
right.
schools meeting tomorrow night.
Right. A whole lot of zigzagging, right? Arrows going everywhere. But yeah, without a doubt, it's just getting to kickoff. It's just getting to kickoff and really understanding we just got to win each possession we get, right? And if we don't win it, it's okay. Go back to the drawing board. The next opportunity we get, we got to capitalize. We got to maximize. And that's what I put in Huddle last week, which is our communication chat for our team. Minimize mistakes, maximize opportunities. And in most cases, when you do that, you win, And that's not just in the game of football. That's also in the game of life. That's in transition from block to block. That's in the cafeteria. That's all things considered, being a student athlete. And that message went right back in last night when they were getting prepared for today and tomorrow's game. Minimize and maximize.
Yeah, and with going out to Great Bridge tomorrow night, that means JV is hosting Great Bridge tonight, and
Yes.
then also Jolliffe Middle and Western Branch Middle. They didn't play each other, but they had games earlier this week.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I haven't been over to Western Branch Middle yet because our focus has really been in making sure we're good here at the high school level as a whole program. However, next week, my goal is to get over to Jolliffe Middle sometime next week. The meeting of getting over there has been confirmed, but the time and the day of the week hasn't. So that's a little bit ongoing. And then after that, my goal is to get over to West Branch Middle, talk to Coach Dale Bridge and their staff and their student athletes. They get to coach up, so we could continue to bridge that gap. I think our incoming freshman class, they came in a lot more comfortable, but still had a lot of growing to do and learning how to be a high school student athlete. But they weren't walking into a program with unfamiliar faces, meaning they haven't seen us before. And that helped quite a bit in their transition. Now it's just learning how to be a high school football player day in and day out. Now, without a doubt, with our staff, I know they're going to be fine.
Yeah, and and then back to Bruin connection. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work out, but definitely during football season, I talked to Mr. Brander, either by phone or definitely by text,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him that Detroit comes into town next week, so he asked me to pass his number on to Dre.
Okay.
Dre did respond, to my text there on Tuesday. I think that's the normal NFL day off, but I don't think I think Mr. Brander doesn't live too far from Tampa Stadium. So, boy, that would be awesome if a former principal and Bruin alum who Mr. Brander not only saw in high school but also drove down to Chapel Hill. It'd be kind of cool if they connect sometime
Absolutely.
this weekend there in Tampa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No pressure, though. No
Right.
pressure. But, we'll see how that turned out. I'm sure Mr.
Right.
Brander will give you feedback on it.
Yeah.
We know Dre not putting any pressure on him. Obviously, the NFL is demanding,
Right.
coaches and players alike. But we'll see how that turned out. They're having a good season this year, too,
Yeah.
without a doubt. So very happy, for Detroit and obviously our Bruin alum and face of our community, Dre Blige. So that's awesome to see. So keep me posted on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. And I think in one of the turnovers last week, one of the cornerbacks, I mean, I guess Dre's doing a good job coaching because I thought number 31 was out there making the interception.
Right, right. I was gonna say, was he high stepping on the sideline
Yeah,
all the
that's
way
right.
to the end zone with his DB, right? Yeah. Without, I mean, he's a good coach. He's a great
Yeah,
coach, right?
right.
Um, Watching what he was able to do with the youth before all the UNC
Right.
opportunities, and some of those guys like Drake May, I believe, he was able to teach at a young age how to be, where he is now, and so on and so forth. So Dre has always been a huge part of sports. I think I would like to say, even the things he did back here in our hometown, whether it was softball or anything. He's always been an integral part of athletics and sports. And sometimes, I think your blessing is serving others, right? Your
Right.
calling is serving others. And whether it's through sports or through ministry or anything, teaching, education, leadership, I think when you know your potential or you know your blessing, who can stop you?
Right.
Without a doubt, who can stop you? So I'm very happy for Dre. I'm happy for all of our guys that have really gone on, past, present, and our future Bruins that have gone on and will go on to make impacts in our area, in our world, in our state. So to me, that's what it's about. We want to win all the time, but are we winning more off the field or as equally off the field that we are on the field? And if we're doing both, you came from a good program. You came from good stock, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and even with your NFL team, I mean, I think he knows the guy behind, that's under center there for
Yes,
the Commanders for a while.
absolutely. And I
Right.
believe we coached him up in his
Yeah,
youth years,
that's right. That's right.
But yeah, without a doubt, just it's just good to see, Lorenzo doing his thing down
Yeah.
south and Sharon and education up north and just so many guys are doing so many great things, and I try not to name just a few because you're leaving out so many. You're leaving out so many, even guys after our era, that are making big noise in whatever industry that they're working in or serving in. So I mean, even Quentin Battle, he's a pastor up in that Prince William County area. So there's so many great people, great Bruins that are doing phenomenal things, and I only keep this prayer in my heart that we continue to serve others and serve the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the funny thing is about Lorenzo, boy, that 8U
Yeah,
Pop Warner team down in Florida, they're bringing it on every
yes,
game day.
yes, absolutely. He would always check in on my boys when we were young. When my
Nice.
boys were younger, not me, but yeah, I guess I was younger, right? But he would always check in or send a note or comment, and me seeing it full circle, right? Now Renzo is celebrating his oldest son in high school, and all
Right.
things considered, it's awesome to see. So yes, it's good to see that bloodline Bruin or whatever you want to call it, starting to reinvest back into what got him where he needed to be. And it's nothing more cooler to do, especially at the young age, to coach up your own kid.
Right. Yeah, and Rashad, Clee, I know that I don't have too many cell numbers of the players, but definitely connect with them on social media,
Yes,
and just tell them that Rags and Elizabeth still pulling for them, and
absolutely.
glad to be part of this program, and go get the Wildcats there tomorrow night.
I know that's right. We tell our kids, tough times don't last long. Tough people do.
Yeah.
Tough people fight through adversity. They come out on the other end, but it only makes you better. So again, I don't believe in putting no quotes out there. One thing it goes back to, I can't play for them, so I can guarantee you everything, but I can't guarantee you if I can't compete, and be able to go out there and do it physically. So we're going to put it on just the week of preparation to get better. Another week, we're taking it one at a time, and I appreciate all the young men and the coaching staff that I am able to work with daily to push me to be an even better coach, and ultimately come out on the other end victorious, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, hey, I certainly appreciate your time week in and week out, and it's I don't want to be a broken record, but every week, I look at Elizabeth and I'm like, hey, tomorrow 4:15, Rashad and I are getting together, and Bruin Nation, we we just exchanged little bullet types of what we're going to talk about. We don't have a script,
Right, right.
and just we put it together, and so you go out for the rest of practice, and go get them there tomorrow night.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you, Bruin Nation, for your support.
Yeah, yeah, and if you're if you don't have anything to do tonight, come on out to
Yes.
Brandon Stadium and support the JV tonight. So Rashad, thanks again for your time, and go Bruins.
Thank you, Mark. Go Bruins.